All right, what's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Sorry about that. Why ignorance is a problem, has been a problem, and continues to be a problem. See, we have factions of people who like being ignorant, who who don't have the capacity not to be ignorant. We have people who are fans of ignorant shit. We have people who promote and market ignorance. And it's become a problem. Why? Because people forget something. People act like people don't grow out of being ignorant. But sometimes when you make ignorance fashionable, you make it fashionable to the point where people don't want to grow out of it. Or when people grow out of it, they're for some way, somehow not cool or not a good person to a degree, or less than. Now, I'm saying all this because, you know, put it in examples. The word nigger, people made that shit fashionable. And it's funny because, I said this before. People say, "Oh, I use the ER." When it's racism, they use the ER, but we use the A when it's a term of endearment. Well, if I call you a motherfucker or a motherfucker, there was one was with the ER, so it was more prevalent than the one with the A. No, I still cussed you out. The thing about it is, very simply put, what happens when you grow out of being ignorant? You see, using that word as an analogy for this particular part right here. So you're 15, you're using it. You're 25, you're using it. Then you're 35, and you're like, you know what? I shouldn't have been doing that. But you might have had a kid at 25, 27. And now your kid running around saying, now you're like, I shouldn't have did that shit. That was stupid. But when people were telling you it was stupid and it was ignorant, you were too busy defending it. On the flip side, when we get these comments in these comment sections, do you notice how a lot of people who probably are not black say nigger a whole lot in our comment section? Like it's a term of endearment. Oh, my bad. It's not a term of endearment. They're saying it because they're being racist. But that's what happens when you make ignorance fashionable. Now, when it comes to being a man or a woman, it's kind of funny how we talk about the divide between men and women, parenting and all that, and marriage and everything, but we rarely get to the root of the problem. And the root of the problem is we had a generation before us that taught us this shit, and now we're left holding the bag. So now you got a generation of people who were split in different directions like a fucking hydra because something affected them in that mix so terribly that they wanted to be the complete opposite. So now you got people who don't want to be black or want to procreate the blackness out of their selves for the future. You got people who are, proud of who they are. You got people who have daddy issues. You got people who have mother issues, which in turn come to dating issues between men and women. You got people who are extra violent because of this situation. You got people who are super naive. You know what I'm saying? And you got people who are just lost and going here and there trying to find themselves. I mean, we can go on and on and on, but that's because the ignorance that was taught to us was like, at the root of it was you have to find your own way. There is no guidance. So a lot of us raised ourselves. And when a lot of us got to a point where when we figured out what we were doing to raise ourselves was wrong, now we have to change our whole program. And what we thought was cool was probably ignorant and stupid. And now You don't want to be ignorant and stupid no more, but you don't want to look a certain way sometimes because you're scared to change and evolve and grow, and it's uncomfortable. And what happens when growth is necessary but stagnation is comfortable? You at war with yourself, and it looks crazy. You know, part of the reason why we have a lot of problems is because, oh, I'm smart, but I don't want to let nobody know. I'm I'm a good person, but I do gotta, get a little gangster from time to time to let people know it's still in me. It's hard for people to just be, and that's when that's the main problem I see with us promoting and loving ignorance. Like, now you can't be. The hardest thing for people to be nowadays is themselves, because everybody is a piece of a carbon copy of something else or someone else. To feel accepted and and um, and feel accepted and loved and paid attention to. Like when somebody's stand out or somebody's different, they're hated on. Everybody has to dress the same way. Everybody has to walk the same way. Everybody has to talk the same way. Everybody has to assimilate in the same manner. And we're not comfortable if you be who you are or were born to be, unless that person does something that entertains, not necessarily enlightens. So the problem at the end of the day with the ignorance is some people just want to be ignorant. And some people profit off of other people being ignorant. So they want to perpetuate ignorance. But I think the question you need to ask yourself is, what do you want? And if what you want may differ from what everybody else wants, when you go a different direction, do the people who were supposedly your friends or family or had your back or your partners, comrades, whatever the fuck you calling each other nowadays, decide that y'all not cool no more because you chose not to be that anymore? And that's where the crabs in the barrel mentality comes from. So all I'm saying is, at the end of the day, when ignorance prevails, enlightenment either concentrates or finds another address. Peace.